This research was featured on the cover of Psychology Today in an article written by Kaya Karina, the editor of Psychology Today, about a year ago. And Scott and I actually contributed. After the article is the mating intelligence scale written by Scott and myself. And I think we can say this is the funnest academic thing, or not so academic thing we ever did, but it was an awful lot of fun to put together. And pretty much it's a true-false self-report scale. It was designed for Psychology Today. And there's the website at the bottom. You can take it yourself. If you're like Scott and me, we gave it to a whole bunch of other people. Most of my family was mad at me because they all scored as low mating intelligence. And most of them, well, I don't want to, lots of people come out as low mating intelligence, and I apologize to them.
My grandma scored top marks, actually.
Grandma scored yeah, so it's interesting to see how people score. But the scale, we've actually found some interesting things with it recently. I'm just going to quickly talk about the nature of the scale. The male, this is the male version. It has 6 different subscales or subfacets. One we're calling accurate, mating, relevant, cross-sex mind reading, and these are all just true-false items. An example item for that one is I'm good at picking up signals of interest from women. Adaptive self-deception in mating. I'm definitely near the top of the status totem pole in my social circle. So it's not important to be at the top, it's important to think you're at the top. Okay, that's the self-deception part. Adaptive deception in mating. If I wanted to, I could convince a woman I'm really a prince from some little-known European country. Right? Scott and I both checked true on that, right? Comparing notes. Reported use of effective, and again, I don't know if that's true. Reported use of effective display behaviors. People tell me I have a great sense of humor, so this was related to the fitness display stuff Scott was talking about. Reported success and relevant sex-specific mating outcomes. I've slept with many beautiful women, and then sort of the chicks dig me bias. Women tend to flirt with me pretty regularly. So the scale has a bunch of true-false items that tap each of these subfacets. Here's the female version, in case you're interested in that. The facets are pretty similar. Accurate, being relevant, cross-sex mind reading. Right on the money about a man's intentions toward me. Adaptive self-deception in mating domain. So for women, it's relatively adaptive to seem more youthful than others. So I look younger than most women my age. Adaptive deception in the mating domain. This one's reverse scored. So scoring false is mating intelligence. I doubt I could ever pull off cheating on my bow. Reported use of effective display behaviors. I'm definitely more creative than most people. And that again speaks to what Scott was talking about. Success in relevant sex-specific mating outcomes. I attract many wealthy, successful men. So for females, mating success isn't just I've slept with a lot of people, but it's more something like I attract many wealthy, successful men, from sort of an evolutionary stance on that. And finally, all men are pig bias. Most guys who are nice to me are just trying to get into my pants. So a woman who thinks that is really showing a commitment to skepticism. I think Scott wrote that one. I will say that the scale is certainly not all fluff, even though we didn't intend anything else when we created it. Dan O'Brien and Andy Gallup at Binghamton started giving this out to people in an actual research study, and they found all kinds of interesting things. And Scott and I are writing a paper with them right now, and I'm calling it Almost in Press. That means we're going to submit it in the next week or two to a journal. One thing we found was that males high in mating intelligence had a lot more lifetime sex partners. And in fact, we found that the scale was extremely predictive of all these mating outcomes that we were kind of expecting it to be or thought it might be. They also have had more sex partners in the last year than other males. Females who weren't high in mating intelligence, we found something really interesting. They had more lifetime sex partners. They lost their virginity earlier, so that might account for the lifetime sex partner effect. But they had no more sex partners than other females in the past year. So it's almost like they got into the mating game a little earlier, but then that experience essentially taught them the rules of the game and so forth, and eventually led to relatively successful mating tactics. So take the scale if you can. It's fun, and if you score low, we apologize proactively. But I wouldn't worry too much. Acknowledgements. I have great research assistants from SUNY New Paltz, and I just want to acknowledge all the work that they've done. Lots of others who provided input or guidance. And if you're interested in more information, articles we publish, and the book and chapters, you can see my website, glengeher.com. And thank you to the Yale Sex Week folks for inviting me again. I really appreciate being here and appreciate the invite. And Scott?
Yeah, I just would like to thank, I had to give thanks to my parents and my grandma, of course, who gave me this, all of her advice on sex week. She used to be a sex ed teacher when she was in like the 40s. And I'd like to thank Geher a lot, Jeffrey Miller for a lot of the ideas, Aaron, Lucy, my friend Elliot, who flew all the way from LA to surprise me this morning this time. So various other people, Stacy, I see in the audience, Lisa, Egan. So I thank everyone, all my other colleagues who have been nothing but supportive in my search for understanding dating intelligence.
But yeah, and don't forget to buy the book. We have copies right here. And actually, we do have a couple extra slides. And as an act of on-the-spot, real-life dating intelligence, I thank my beautiful wife, Kathy, and look, happy Valentine's Day, Kathy. And I got her. There's Andrew and Megan, and they're fine. My aunt and uncle are doing fine with them. I think Scott might have one more slide.
I was debating whether or not to do this. I do have a secret crush, and I would like to thank her. I was just wondering. She's not here, so. Thank you.
Yeah, one real kind of hot topic question that comes to mind is how does your field deal with homosexuality? Because, I mean, the whole idea is if, you know, mating intelligence is working in an evolutionary way, and then you get into the whole nature versus nurture thing as far as what homosexuality is, what's the roots of it all. But, so I know it's politically kind of a sensitive thing you can weigh in on, but how does your field deal with the fact that even homosexuality exists, is in fact you are being selected by these